Hey, I'm Holland, a children's librarian with the Benjamin L. Book Central Library. Welcome back to another episode of Community Art Academy, a partnership between the University of Memphis' Art Education Department and Memphis Public Library to bring you art lessons each week. And this week, our lesson is going to be on paper bag gnomes, and our accompanying book is called No Gnome by Ashlyn Anstey. The students at Green Thumb Elementary have been working hard on their garden all year long. Finally, it was almost ready to harvest. Everyone was excited. Especially Gnome. As the students headed outside, Mr. Waters assigned each of them a task. The kids quickly got to work. At first, Gnome was helpful, but then, as he's digging up the strawberries, No, Gnome! Mr. Waters suggested that Gnome try something else, like watering the garden. But pretty soon, he got a little out of hand with that watering hose. No, Gnome! Mr. Waters gave Gnome one last chance. All Gnome had to do was stand still and hold the basket for the garden clippings. But no, he didn't even last 1 minute. He was all over the place. Mr. Waters sent Gnome back to the classroom. When the other kids returned, no one said hello. At recess, no one would play with him. And at the end of the day, no one said goodbye. Gnome was blue. How could he show his friends that he was sorry? Gnome had an idea. He went into the garden and he put on his gardening gloves and he fixed up the tomato plants and all of the signs and the soil and watered everything to make it beautiful again. The next day, Gnome couldn't wait to get back to the garden. The other kids were dreading it. But when they went outside, Oh no! They're so excited. The students got to work picking their harvest bounty. Gnome was helpful most of the time. The end.
Thank you, Holland, for sharing that awesome book. Today we will be creating our own gnome puppets. My name is Jocelyn. And my name is Peyton. And we are the students in the Art Education Department. First, we're going to look at a short presentation. Go big or go gnome. First, we're going to share some vocabulary that you might want to know. The first is fiction, which is literature, especially short stories and novels that describe imaginary events and people. And the reason that is on our list is because today's book was a fiction book. The next word is legendary creature, and that's a fictional creature that has not been proven and is typically described in folklore, also known as a mythological creature. And a gnome would be a great example of a legendary creature. Folklore is traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community passed through the generations by word of mouth. And lastly, gnome, a legendary dwarfish creature that is supposed to guard nature and Earth's treasures underground.
The next vocab word is preserve, to maintain something in its original or existing state, to protect. The next one is repurpose, adapt for use in a different purpose. Diversity, having a variety or a range of differences. Portrait, a work of art depicting a person. And puppet, a movable model of a person or an animal.
Now we're going to talk about an artist named Bryn Portbeat. Now that's a pretty hard name to pronounce. Let's say it together. Bryn Portbeat. So Josh, can you tell me a little bit about who Bryn is?
Sure. Bryn Portbeat was a Dutch painter. He was best known for his drawings and paintings of animals and gnomes. He painted using watercolors. He also illustrated several books, including one called Gnomes by Hugen in 1976. Portbeat saw himself as a storyteller in his drawings. This means that most of the time his artwork told a tale without using very many words.
Now we're going to look at a few examples of Bryn Portbeat's artwork. My favorite is the one of the gnome with the frogs. What about you, Josh?
My favorite is the one with the umbrella.
And today, now that you know your vocab, we are going to create a work of art based on the book that we read today. So you will use materials at home to repurpose a brown paper bag to make a gnome-inspired puppet of your choice. Let's go big or go gnome. Today, we're going to be making our own gnome puppets. And if you look at ours, you'll notice that they all look a little different. So you can personalize yours to make them look however you want to. Now Josh, what materials are we going to be using today?
Let's pull out all of our materials. So first, we will need a brown paper bag. We will then need scissors, construction paper, glue, oil pastel, crayons, and colored pencils.
Now, oil pastel, crayons, and colored pencils, that's your choice. Whatever you have at home will work.
I will be using colored pencils today. What will you be using?
I'm going to be using oil pastels.
What type of gnome are you thinking about making today?
I think I'm going to make a blue gnome.
Okay. I think I'm going to make a pink gnome. It's springtime and I'm feeling festive.
Alright, so the very first step that you're going to do to make your gnome is we're going to make the gnome hats. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out your construction paper and you're going to draw a triangle. And you can use any material that you want. So you can either use your colored pencils, your markers, or your oil pastels.
So to measure your hat, make sure you're using the top end of your paper bag for each side, like this. One side.
So now that you have these reference lines of how wide and how tall your paper bag is, you can draw a triangle. The next step is to cut out your triangle.
Hey Peyton, are you thinking about doing a design on your hat?
I think so. What about you?
I think so. I think I'm going to do probably a flower.
Now I just thought of something. What if you don't have scissors? What are you going to do?
Well, you can fold it and then tear it.
That's a great idea. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold along the line that you drew. You may want to go the other way too. And then you should be able to hold it along the table and slowly tear it off. Just like that. And then you don't even need scissors. Now, you can decorate your gnome hat. I think I'm going to do polka dots. What about you?
Nice. I drew a nice little sunflower.
What color are you using?
I am using yellow and orange.
to our brown paper bag. And you want to pay attention to this. So when you hold your bag, you should have the flap in front of you and up towards the top. And you will be gluing your hat directly on that flap, just like this. And if you're making this with a friend, you might be sharing materials like we're doing.
I'm just gonna wait patiently until she's done.
And if you noticed, when I held my hat up to my bag, it's taller than the bag. So you want to make sure not to put glue on the very top so that it doesn't stick to your table.
Next, we can get started on the beard. What type of beard are we thinking about making?
Well, I think, first of all, not all gnomes are boys. You can also make a girl gnome.
Yeah.
So with this gnome, instead of doing a beard, I made sure to do long hair.
And with this gnome, instead of doing a straight beard, I did a curly beard or curly hair.
But today, I think I'm going to do a straight beard.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I'll stick to curly. Let me show you how. So I'll take a sheet of my construction paper, just cut out a few strips, straight down, like so. It doesn't matter the size, as long as you have about 5 or 6. Make sure you guys are being careful with your scissors. You're gonna open them up, put your fingers here, place the paper here, and then just pull. And then you have your curl.
That's cool. Now I think I'm going to do a straight beard, and I think I'm going to use the paper that's already on my bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a white oil pastel, and I'm going to color the bottom of my bag. So I'm going to lift the flap, and I'm going to make sure that I color all the way up to the top.
So if you guys want to opt out of using scissors, you can do what Peyton's doing.
You know, the good thing about oil pastels is that you can mix colors. Now that I'm coloring the white down, I think I want to mix some orange in there.
You know, now that I think about it, I think I might want to add a little blue to mine. When you're adding your curly hair, make sure you place the hair behind the head, like so, to show a curl.
All right, I'm done coloring. So the next step is to cut your brown paper bag into strips, but you want to make sure that you're only cutting the top layer, because if you cut the back layer, then you won't be able to stick your hand in it like this. So follow along carefully. Remember, I'm only cutting the very top, and I'm going to cut it in strips all the way to where my hat is. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you find yourself falling behind. All right, now that I've cut my beard, I think it's just about done.
Oh, that looks great, Peyton.
Thank
you.
you.
How mine?
I love it.
Thanks. All right, so now I think we're just about ready to move on to the nose.
The nose? I think so.
What color are you thinking?
I might do a white nose. Now you're going to glue it on your gnome, but since there's this flap here, you're only going to put glue on the top half of your oval so that you can still open and close it when you're done.
So I'll put glue for the top half of mine. Here you go.
Thank you.
I'll place it right here.
And then I'm going to place it at the bottom of my hat, but I'm going to make sure none of the glue gets on my beard behind it. Just like that. So now when you stick your hand inside of it, it can open and close, just like that.
Hey, hey, my gnome is looking a little plain. Can we go back and change some things?
Absolutely. Some of your beards and hair might not cover your entire gnome, so you can always go back and decorate an outfit for your gnome.
What if I wanted to switch materials? Can I use some of your oil pastels?
Absolutely.
Thank
That's
you.
what friends are for. And at the bottom of this gnome, I cut some fringe to make it look like my gnome was wearing a skirt. So you can do the same for yours. Or you can color it. You can even glue construction paper on top of it. Now my gnome looks about finished, but I think I want to put something on the hat.
What are you thinking?
Well, since gnomes like to guard nature, I think I'm going to add a leaf stuck in his hat.
Are you going to use your oil pastels or switch it up with your colored pencil?
I think I'm going to use construction paper. Can I borrow this green?
Of course.
I might use my oil pastels to draw my leaf, actually. Now that I've drawn my leaf, I'm going to cut it out. Where do you think I should put it? Should I have it sticking up right here?
Let's try the left side.
Good idea. So now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom. And I'm actually going to lift my hat a little bit and kind of tuck it in there like that.
That's a great way to secure your leaf.
Now he has a leaf sticking out of his hat. So feel free to add whatever you want. As you can see on this one, I added a flower.
And on this one, I added a dress.
All right, do you think we're about finished?
I think we're just about done. Do you know what time it is?
Puppet show.
Puppet show! Hey there, Peyton. What are you up to today?
Oh, you know, just another busy day protecting Earth's treasures. What about you, Josh?
Same here. I've got time to protect the garden. Cool hat, by the way.
Thanks. I love your curly beard. Just make sure you don't get too carried away like Gnome did in the book.
Absolutely. There's a safe and responsible way to take care of nature.
We need to always make sure we're being careful.
Alright guys, so after every art project, the first thing we do is clean up.
All right. You want to make sure you're being careful because we want to make sure we're safe.
If you use your scissors, make sure you take your scissors face down and close them.
And when I gather all my papers, I'm going to be extra careful to make sure I don't get a paper cut.
Hey, why do you think it's a good idea to clean up?
Well, I think that it's rude to leave a messy space for the people who are going to be working after you. Now that the space is clean, we're going to go over a few different ways that you can display your gnome once you're done making it. The very first way is you can put it in your window so that your gnome can watch over your yard and your garden. But make sure that you're keeping watch over your gnome so that it doesn't make a mess like Gnome did in the book.
And if you don't want to put your gnome in your window, you can always give it to someone and explain to them why it's so important.
And then the last way is if you don't want to keep your gnome, you don't want to throw it away, make sure that you recycle so that the materials can be used again.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We really hope you enjoyed making your gnomes.
Remember to go big